I'm live. Hello, and welcome to The Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace with me, Melissa O'Malley. Today is the introduction day. It's March 31st, and I will be hosting The Alcohol Experiment starting on April 1st, tomorrow. So today I'm here to read to you the introduction of The Alcohol Experiment. And today it's a long one. It's a long one. According to my calculations, I think today will be the longest read of all 30 days. um, so we're in this. I hope you're in this with me. My intention, my idea is, I'm just going to read to you from The Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace every day. I have a Facebook group for extra support. If you want to join it, I'll link it in the description if you're not already there. And the intention is to share with you an alcohol experiment, whether you're using this for alcohol or for another habit or dependency. Either way, it truly doesn't matter. It'll be helpful for all sorts of habit break for whatever your habit breaking need is. I think you'll find value here. So my intention is for you to kind of use these videos. I think some of them will be live, some of them I will pre-record. Either way, my idea is for you to use the video as kind of like an audio book or like a podcast, and you can listen and follow along and learn. If and when I will be interjecting my own experiences, my own knowledge, I'll be sure to make it clear that I'm switching from Annie's voice to my own voice. So that being said, I think that's all I need to say before we hop into it. Please feel free to join the Facebook group or to message me privately somehow. You know how to find me. You know how to get a hold of me. I'm here to support you. Um, After trying many things, um, this experiment is what finally like really worked to get me sober. I really believe in this. I've read many books. I've tried many methods. Um, if you don't know, I'm a counselor. I have a background in counseling, and I have a background in addictions counseling. So I have plenty of my own experience to draw from. I have plenty of um, like um, my own personal experience, and then like what I know from my education and my experience as a counselor and an addictions counselor. Um, so I will interject here and there, but for the most part, I'm going to be reading straight from Miss or Mrs. I'm not too sure, Annie Grace. So if you want to get a copy of this book, I highly recommend it. And it's not necessary because I'll read it to you. So, like I said, today is going to be the longest read of the whole month. So buckle in. I've got my water. I'm a little nervous to do this live, but we're doing it. So here's the introduction. Thanks for being here. Good luck. By the way, let me know how I can support you. All right. It's your body. It's your mind. It's your choice. During the alcohol experiment, you'll make a choice to go 30 days without alcohol, just to see how you feel. You'll become a detached reporter, researching the facts, writing down your observations, and possibly drawing new conclusions. This is an exciting experiment, not a punishment. You're not weak willed for questioning your drinking. There's no judgment or labeling here. You have a unique opportunity to remember how to enjoy life without alcohol. And with this book's unconventional approach, I'm willing to bet You'll enjoy the process. Who is this for? This experiment is for you if you're curious about your relationship with alcohol and you're thinking about drinking less often or not at all. It's also for you if you are of two minds about alcohol. You want to drink less, but you also feel deprived or upset when you abstain. You drink out of habit or boredom, only to regret it later. You are starting to wonder if alcohol is taking more than it is giving. You're curious about a life without booze, but don't feel like you're an alcoholic. You want to drink less, but life is just too stressful. You have a love-hate relationship with alcohol and find yourself setting limits and then breaking them when happy hour rolls around. You've tried to cut back or stop drinking, possibly many times, using willpower alone and found it ineffective. You fell into drinking more than you ever wanted without making a conscious decision to do so. You can stop drinking for a few days, but find yourself feeling deprived. You're ready to regain control of your drinking, your life, your health, and your happiness. You're looking forward to feeling great on Saturday night and Sunday morning. You are ready to be your best self, get in shape, regain your self esteem, and change your life. This is not for you if you have a strong physical addiction to alcohol. If you are physically dependent and suffer from serious withdrawal symptoms, such as delirium tremens or hallucinations, when you attempt to stop or cut back, this book may help with your emotional and psychological addiction by changing your perspective and erasing your desire to drink. However, I am not a doctor, and alcohol withdrawal can be extremely dangerous. You should seek professional medical assistance so your detoxification is medically supervised. Is life better without alcohol? That's up to you to decide. My own experience with this experiment proved that, for me, life was absolutely better when I chose not to drink. However, your experience might be different. It's your body, it's your mind, it's your choice. I'm simply inviting you to open your mind to the possibility of making a different choice and then encouraging you to see how it changes things in your daily life. It's 30 days, not forever. Many people ask me if they will have to give up drinking forever if they try the experiment. My answer is it's up to them. My only goal is to offer you a shift in your perspective and to show you some of the neuroscience behind why you might be drinking more than you'd like to. You might go back to your regular drinking habits after the 30 days. You might drink a little bit more mindfully and less often, or you might decide to give it another 30 days just for the heck of it. You might also decide you feel so good you never want to go back. Whatever you decide, I'd love to hear your experience with the experiment. If you'd like to share your story, email me at hello@alcoholexperiment.com. Why we drink more than we want to. Since you're reading this right now or hearing this right now, you're probably questioning how much you drink. Maybe you know you drink too much and want to quit, or maybe you're just curious about what life is like with a little bit less alcohol. Maybe you're questioning whether you might be overdoing it a bit. No matter where you are on the spectrum, you're not alone. I've been there, and tens of thousands of people inside the alcohol experiment community have been there too. You're probably wondering why in the world you keep drinking even though you've made a conscious decision to cut back or stop altogether. Why do we do things we no longer want to do? I wondered the same thing. When I first started drinking, it seemed to be a natural, normal thing to do. I saw nothing wrong with it. I didn't know all the negative ways alcohol could affect my health. I was a drinker, and I was proud of it. I tried hard to develop a tolerance so I could keep up with my colleagues. It was fun. It was relaxing. I had better sex when I was drunk, or so I thought. Eventually, I came to a point in my life when I started to question my drinking. I didn't like waking up with a hangover. I didn't like having to piece together conversations and wondering if I said or did anything embarrassing. I wasn't even enjoying myself anymore. I could drink 2 bottles of wine and not even feel it because I had such a high tolerance. So I made a conscious decision to stop drinking. And I thought that would be it. I just wouldn't drink. Easy peasy. Sound familiar? If you've tried to give up or moderate your alcohol consumption in the past and failed, I want you to know it's not your fault. There's something going on you're probably not aware of. And once you understand it, your eyes will be opened and you'll be able to undergo this experiment in a meaningful way. It won't just be another failure of willpower. To understand what's going on, we need to explore a concept called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive means the way you think, and dissonance means disagreement. So, cognitive dissonance is when there's a disagreement in your thinking. Well, how can that be? You've got one brain, right? Actually, your brain has many parts, and they can come into conflict with one another. But what we're really talking about here is your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is everything you're aware of. You're tired of waking up with a headache. You don't like spending money on alcohol. Maybe your relationship is suffering, or your kids don't even know you anymore. Because you're aware of those things, you make a conscious decision to stop drinking. But there's another powerful part of your mind, your subconscious. That's where you've stored a lifetime of subconscious conditioning and beliefs that, by definition, you're unaware of. Our subconscious mind controls our emotions and desires, and society's attitudes about alcohol are programmed and fixed in our subconscious minds by the media, our parents, our friends, and our role models. We don't consciously adopt these beliefs, they are imprinted on us. Take, for example, the belief that drinking helps you relax. That's a belief you formed a long time ago after careful observation and experience. You weren't born with this knowledge, but you watched your parents drink after a long day. You've seen movies and TV shows where characters drink to relax, and you've experienced it yourself and found it to be true. So, you formed a strong belief that alcohol helps you relax. Here's the thing about subconscious beliefs, they're not always true. We form our belief systems when we're very young, and sometimes we'll carry those beliefs our whole lives without ever questioning them. Most of the time, this is fine. The sky is blue, ice is cold. If I fall down, it's going to hurt. Cognitive dissonance happens when our subconscious beliefs disagrees with a conscious desire or decision. If I believe alcohol helps me relax, but I've decided not to drink after work anymore, that's a problem. Part of me desperately wants a drink to unwind after a long day, and another part of me doesn't want to overdo it and wake up with a hangover. There are two conflicting desires. Cognitive dissonance. To drink or not to drink? That is the question. This is one of the reasons we continue to drink more than we want to, even after we've decided to cut back. This is why our willpower doesn't work in the long term. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines willpower as energetic determination. That means it takes energy, conscious thought, and effort. This is especially true when you're trying to stop doing something that you believe provides a benefit. We don't have to exert conscious effort and energy not to drink something we believe is bad for us if we see no benefit in it, right? For example, there's no effort involved in turning down a glass of motor oil. If you believe, even subconsciously, that alcohol provides a benefit, you will be exercising willpower to cut back or avoid drinking. The problem with willpower is that since it is energy, willpower runs out. And if you use your willpower on one thing, like being patient with your kids or paying attention during a boring work event, you'll have less willpower to use when you try to turn down the next drink. That is why I say we need to get out of the willpower game altogether. Until we resolve the inner conflict, we cannot hope to succeed. Let's pretend we're trying to avoid sweets because we're trying to lose weight. Yet, someone at the office brings in a big plate of freshly baked cookies and we mindlessly grab one to eat it. Okay, who are we kidding? We eat like 3 cookies. Bam! Dissonance. Your brain doesn't want to eat cookies because you're on a diet, but you did. There's an internal conflict. Our brains immediately try to restore internal harmony in a few different ways. One, we can change our behavior. Make a vow not to eat another cookie no matter how good they look. Two, we can justify our behavior and say, oh, it's okay to cheat every once in a while. We all need a little sugar now and then. I deserve it. Three, we can add another behavior to counteract the first one. Well, I ate the cookies, but that's okay. I'll go for a long run after work to burn off the extra calories. Or four, we can delude ourselves by denying or ignoring the conflicting information. Those cookies are probably not all that bad for my diet. They seemed pretty small anyway. We delude ourselves all the time when it comes to alcohol or any addictive substance. We ignore the fact that alcohol isn't doing us any favors and it's actually harming us. We do it as a defense mechanism because we're trying to solve this internal disagreement. Conflict hurts. Humans are hardwired to avoid it whenever possible. When you are divided, when you're not whole, it's incredibly painful. And what do we drinkers do to numb pain? We drink. And then we drink more. And sometimes we drink until we black out to avoid something painful, even temporarily. The more we drink, the worse we feel, mentally and physically, and the more we don't want to drink. The more we don't want to drink, the more internal conflict we create. The more conflict, the more pain. The more pain, the more we drink. It's a cycle that spirals out of control. It's not intentional. We may not even know we're doing it until something terrible happens. At some point, we wake up to the reality and try to change. But unless we address the dissonance, change continually eludes us. I tried to drink less, to set limits on my drinking. I could do it for a while, but eventually my willpower would give out and I'd be right back to waking up, wondering how many glasses I'd had the night before. I felt helpless, I felt weak, and I felt alone. I'm smart and capable. Why did this have such a hold on me? I would intend to drink a single glass of wine, or maybe 2, but would wind up the next morning being unable to count how many I had had. And that would make me want to drink more because then I wouldn't have to think about the fact that I'd broken a commitment to myself again. Drinking erased the conflict, even for a little while. What I didn't know was that there was something much bigger at work. The subconscious mind is where our desires originate. So part of me was so much stronger than my conscious desire to get my act together. The deck was stacked against me, and I didn't even realize it. The good news is that I discovered a way to truly resolve my cognitive dissonance around drinking. And it works for anything, by the way. If you're eating sugar when you don't want to, or you're gambling when you don't want to, or you're watching too much television, whatever. This method works to resolve the conflict and get your conscious and subconscious minds on the same page. When that happens, you get what you want with no effort. You can go to a party with all of your friends and have a great time without even thinking about alcohol. You can ring in the new year with a ginger ale. You can save your relationships. You can change your life. Want to know the secret? It's all about awareness. If you're struggling because you're unaware of your subconscious beliefs, then the solution is to become aware of them. Shine a light deep into the nooks and crannies of your mind and figure out what beliefs are holding you back. What beliefs are in conflict with your desire to drink less or stop drinking? I've developed a proven, scientifically based process to do exactly that. The process is based on a technique called liminal thinking, created by the best-selling author Dave Gray and The Work by author Byron Katie. The liminal space is the area between your conscious and subconscious, or subliminal mind. The technique I've developed is called ACT: awareness, clarity, and turnaround. You're going to become aware of your belief by naming it and putting language to it. Next, you clarify the belief, where it came from, and how it feels inside of you. Finally, you will turn around the belief, coming up with a few reasons why the opposite of your long held belief may be truer or as true as the original belief. As with many of the most profound tools for change, it's a simple process of deconstructing your beliefs by asking yourself questions like these: what do I believe? Is it true? How does it make me feel? Is it helpful? Remember when I said sometimes our beliefs just aren't true? Well, that's how you untangle this mess, by discovering the truth. Does alcohol truly relax you? Or do you just think it does? Do you really enjoy sex more when you're drunk? Or does it become a sloppy, embarrassing mess you can barely remember? I'm not going to suggest the answer is one or the other. I can't make you believe something you don't want to believe. Your subconscious beliefs remain deeply entrenched until you become aware of them and decide to change them by questioning their validity. Every few days during this 30-day experiment, you'll see bonus ACT chapters. You can read them as they come up, or you can read them first if you'd like. And we'll read them as they come up. These special chapters present you with some facts regarding common beliefs about alcohol. All I ask is for you to keep an open mind and carefully consider what you're reading. It might take a few days or weeks of mulling it over before you decide one way or another. You might need to test out some theories. That's okay. Take as much time as you need. This is your experiment. Here's a preview of how the ACT technique works. 1. Awareness. Name your belief. In the context of alcohol, this is your conscious reason for drinking. Simply put it into words. Alcohol relaxes me. 2. Clarity. Discover why you believe it and where it originated. You do this by asking questions both of yourself and of the external evidence, by uncovering truths about your belief. What have I observed that supports this belief? Happy hour, and the idea that everyone unwinds with a cocktail after a stressful day of work. Every time I talk to my friends about my struggles, either with my kids or husband, they always say something like, "Oh no, don't worry, I know just the thing. You need some wine immediately." What are my experiences with alcohol and relaxation? I've felt the relaxing effects of alcohol myself. After a stressful day at work, a drink seems to calm my nerves and allows me to transition from the hard work day to a relaxing evening. Then it's time to do some detective work and compare this belief with both your internal and external realities. Internally, you'll ask yourself questions like these: what do I mean by relax? How do I feel when I'm not relaxed? How do I feel when I am relaxed? Does anything else make me feel this way? How do I feel when I'm drinking? Is that the same feeling as relaxed? How do I feel the next day? Is that relaxed? Externally, you'll examine the evidence. Is it true scientifically? Does alcohol relax human beings? Does research support this belief? What do external sources say about this belief? Do they support or contradict it? And don't worry, you don't have to do a bunch of research. Throughout the 30 days of the experiment, I'll be supplying the studies and data. And finally, in the clarity step, you want to reflect on 2 questions. How does this belief make me feel? How does it make me behave? This check in, this check in with you about what the belief is doing in your life can provide the most clarity and motivation for change. 3, turnaround. This is where you allow your subconscious to let go of the belief, deciding if, after exploration, it is indeed true for you. There are 2 steps here. First, you turn the initial belief around and find as many ways as you can that the opposite of your initial belief is true. For example, if your belief is alcohol relaxes me, the opposite becomes alcohol does not relax me or alcohol stresses me out. Now that you've stated the opposite, come up with as many reasons as you can that the opposite is as true or truer than the original belief. Examples might include alcohol stresses my body out, and a hangover is evidence of that. Alcohol prevents me from taking the action necessary to truly relieve my stress, so in that case, it does not relax me. When I drink, I am more likely to get in an argument with my spouse, and fighting is stressful. When I drink, I beat myself up about it the next day, and that is stressful. Once you've done that, the final step is simply to decide if this belief still holds true for you and if it is serving you, or if it would be better off letting it go. ACT, awareness, clarity, turnaround. It's an effective, scientific way to shine a light into your subconscious and figure out what's actually causing your behavior. And you can find a guided worksheet in the back of this book to apply this process to any belief that comes up around alcohol or about anything else in your life. The important thing is to remember the important thing to remember is that there is no wrong answer. You're not messing up if you go through this process and still feel the belief is true for you. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but trust me on this. This process is about presenting your subconscious mind with information, facts, and logic. It's about shifting your mindset. And while that can often happen quickly by simply reading through ACT chapters, it can also happen more slowly over time. Again, there are no wrong answers. Now you know there's something deeper at work here, and there's something you can do about it. I hope you're excited about this experiment. My ACT technique works. You can use it to enact change in so many areas of your life. It's so empowering. You can use it to lose weight, to start exercising, stop procrastinating, and be a better parent. For now, though, let's focus on your drinking. Sticking with it. Often we don't think about how much we drink or why we drink, like we're doing in this experiment, until drinking is no longer an option. We don't know if we drink because there's chaos in our lives or if there's chaos because we drink. Suddenly, when the option to escape through drinking isn't there, we're forced to take a look at what's going on in our lives and what might be triggering us. What are we trying to distract ourselves from? Sometimes the answer is obvious. Work is stressful, the boss yelled again, but other times there doesn't seem to be an obvious trigger. Sometimes we drink to avoid anything unpleasant or stressful. This experiment offers us the option to switch from seeing stress as a reason to drink to seeing it as an opportunity to be creative and find other ways to deal with our problems. Maybe addressing the source of the stress is a good idea. Maybe blowing off steam on the driving range or at a boxing gym would be equally satisfying, and you could get a healthy workout in as a bonus. As adults, we develop all sorts of coping mechanisms to handle stress. Maybe you like to read a book, meditate, knit, watch TV, or exercise. When I was in New York, I used to go for a long run at the end of the day. Then, when I was encouraged to attend all sorts of boozy work events, from happy hours to networking meetings, that healthy habit got replaced by alcohol. Over time, all of my healthy coping mechanisms were replaced with alcohol, and my life was thrown completely out of balance. What I've learned is that when we're tired, stressed out, cranky, or upset, we don't need alcohol. What we need is to change our emotional state. We need to do something to go from tired to energized, from cranky to happy, and we turn to alcohol. You are going to experience stress over the next 30 days. I can pretty much guarantee it. But rather than saying screw it and giving up, stop and think through it. If you have a drink now, how will that make you feel later? It might make you feel better temporarily, but you'll probably feel even worse the next morning when you realize you broke your promise to yourself. But here's the thing, every day that you read a chapter, you are learning. And I so strongly encourage you to pick up right where you left off and keep going. If you make it 30 days with just a few drinks, that is a huge improvement, and you will have learned so much. This experiment is about getting through all the information and staying curious about your behavior, whatever it is. I recommend keeping a journal. You can even jot down your thoughts in the Notes app on your phone, or a video diary to record your thoughts each day. Notice how your body feels physically and emotionally. You might be surprised by the changes you see from day to day. I'm not here to tell you to stop drinking or to keep drinking. I'm simply here to provide you with a framework to discover your truth through logical reasoning based on scientific information. At the end of the day, you are the only one who can make the choice. My only goal is to challenge some of the beliefs that might be holding you back. It's a terrible feeling to want something new or different and feeling like you're stuck, unable to move toward it in any meaningful way. One way or another, you'll be able to make a move by the end of this experiment. Your job is simple. Observe and become aware for 30 alcohol-free days. Be a reporter. Just the facts, ma'am. If you're used to beating yourself up over your drinking, give yourself a break during this experiment. And if you slip up, give yourself a break then too. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to simply test out a new way of thinking and behaving to see how it feels, to see if it moves you closer to those desires you have for a new life. In fact, imperfection can be a wonderful tool to help you see yourself even more clearly. What I ask of you now for the next 30 days is to keep an open mind. Consider the possibilities presented in each day's reading. Is it possible that you could have all the facts wrong? For example, could anxiety be a heavy influence on your drinking? Is it possible that there's more going on with marketing and the profit engine of the alcohol industry than you currently realize? Is there something going on within the brain that makes alcohol seem more attractive than it truly is? Again, all I ask is that you keep an open mind. At the end, you might decide to keep on drinking, and maybe you'll naturally cut down on the amount that you drink. Or you might decide to stop altogether because you feel so good. It's your body, your mind, and your choice. A few tips before you start. One of the most interesting things I've found in my years of research is just how many people want to change their drinking. I thought I was alone. I thought I was the only one who was questioning my drinking habits. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's not that we are alone. In our society, questioning our relationship with alcohol is a taboo, even among our closest friends. An honest conversation around drinking seems to invite judgment. Yet the statistics are staggering. 80% of Americans drink alcohol, and a huge majority drink it regularly. And think about this. Out of the people you know who drink alcohol regularly, how many of them had said something like, I overdid it last night, or after last night, I am never drinking again? at some time or another. Most of them, right? Almost everyone I know, and certainly everyone I drank with, has told me that they wanted to change their drinking at some point to some degree. So you are not alone in wondering about this topic. You are in the vast majority. Another thing I've realized after reaching hundreds of thousands of people with this message is that drinking more than you want is not a weakness. If you've tried to stop drinking in the past and failed, I want you to know it's not your fault. Some of the smartest and most successful people in the world drink more than they want to, including lawyers, doctors, corporate executives, psychiatrists, professors, you name it. And when they try to cut back, they don't find it easy. And when it is not easy, we blame ourselves, believing there's something wrong with us. As you will discover, there is nothing wrong with you. It's simply that you are a human being who is drinking a substance that is addictive to human beings. Why is this happening to even the smartest and best of us? Because we're going about it all wrong. The entire conversation around alcohol is flawed, and by the time you finish this book and the 30-day experiment, you'll see that it's not black and white. You're not either a normal drinker or an alcoholic. Most of us fall somewhere in the middle. So relax and let go of your anxieties. There are no judgments here. And even though I've decided to stop drinking indefinitely, you might make a different decision after completing this experiment. My only goal is to give you as much truthful information as I can so that you can make the right decision for you, an informed decision. What to expect over the next 30 days. Magic happens in 30 days. It's a period of time when the brain can actually change by making new neural connections to build great new habits or to eliminate habits that have held you back. But to experience that magic, you may have to deal with a few side effects. After all, alcohol is a toxin and your body needs to cleanse itself. You might experience some cravings and irritability at first. This is completely normal and will pass as the alcohol leaves your system. It takes about a week for the body to detoxify itself, so be gentle with yourself during this period. Once your system is clean, you're going to feel amazing. You'll have more energy, your brain will feel like a fog has lifted, and it's possible you'll feel happier than you have in a long time. Here are a few things you can do to help this process along. Make a firm decision to commit to this experiment 100%. One firm decision takes all the stress out of thousands of smaller decisions you have to make every day. You want to burn the boats like there's no going back. It's only 30 days. And at the end, you get to make the final decision about whether you will continue on alcohol free. Tell someone you trust about what you're doing and why. It's okay if you don't want to announce it to the world quite yet, but there's an incredible power in having someone you can confide in. Do this, and you're much more likely to follow through with the whole 30 days. Drink plenty of water to flush out all the toxins in your system. The more you drink clean, pure water, the faster your body can cleanse itself. Get lots of sleep. The body repairs itself when you're asleep, so give it all the time it needs. If you're worried you won't be able to sleep without drinking, we'll cover that later in the book. Get some exercise. You'll feel better when you get your blood moving. And I've found vigorous exercise to be a great way to overcome both cravings and irritability. Eat healthy foods, especially protein. Your body needs protein to make amino acids, which help elevate your mood. Start a journal. You're going to want to talk through what you learn in this book, and a journal is a great place to record your thoughts. Take a photo and weigh yourself. You might be surprised at the differences you see in your physical appearance after 30 days without alcohol. Stay social. Now is not the time to isolate yourself or lock yourself away from your friends and family. You need your social life. You need your friends. You might be nervous about going out to places where you regularly drink, but this is an experiment. You have to get out there and try it. You are experimenting with how your real life will be without alcohol. As you go along, you will be amazed to realize you don't need the alcohol to socialize or have a good time. You only thought you did. Think back to when you were a child or in high school. Did you need alcohol then? Weren't you having the most fun? And what's the worst that can happen? You go out to a happy hour, you order a refreshing glass of iced tea, and you have a miserable time. So what? It's just one evening, and it's all part of the experiment. That is great data. You can examine exactly why you had a miserable time and whether the lack of alcohol is truly the reason. I bet you will surprise yourself by having an amazing time. Be positive. Many people tell me their biggest fear is they don't think they can do it. They aren't sure they're strong enough to make it 30 days. Don't kick off this experiment by feeling sorry for yourself. You have so much to look forward to. Sure, the cleansing process takes a little while and it's not entirely pleasant, but you are strong and you can handle it. The same people who thought they couldn't do it write to me after a week or two and say they can't believe the difference in themselves. They now know they are stronger than they thought. You can join this book's online social challenge at alcoholexperiment.com. There you can do this experiment with thousands of like-minded people from all over the globe. You will get an amazing community support, plus daily video resources and a private online journal to document your progress. Consider posting your selfie and get encouragement from others. Use it as a reminder and as a way to track your progress. One of the most amazing changes is how much clearer, more peaceful, and alert your eyes will look after 30 days alcohol free. And when you join the free online experiment, there are even alcohol experiment mentors who've already gone through this process and are committed to helping you make it to the end. There are even alcohol experiment mentors there who've already gone through this process and are committed to helping you make it through the end. For a reader's discount, please visit alcoholexperiment.com/reader. Throughout this book, you'll find stories and observations from actual community members. The comments are real, though the names have been changed. So, Melissa speaking, do that. I totally encourage you to visit alcoholexperiment.com and do one of the official formal challenges. Annie actually, in the end of the book, she gives instructions on how to host the experiment in your community, and that's what we're doing here. So join the alcohol experiments formal community if you feel called to that, and I also have my little group that you can join too. Oh, here's the next point. Consider hosting the alcohol experiment in your community. Change is more fun with friends. I've put together some ideas on how to make this super fun in a group, and you can find all the details in the back of the book on page 329. All right. This is a 30-day experiment, right? So I just want you to read the short lesson for each day. Try to read it in the morning if you can, and put the recommendations into practice during the day. Don't be surprised if you find yourself having epiphanies in the shower or shouting, "Holy cow," while you're driving. Once your mind starts mulling over some of these ideas, there's no telling where your thoughts can go. As with almost everything in life, your perspective can determine your outcome. So instead of thinking about giving something up, think about what you're going to gain. Self-respect, more money in your wallet, a better relationship with your spouse and your kids, better health, better working relationships, a leaner body, and more. This is exciting. You are embarking on an amazing journey. And don't worry, it's only 30 days. You can do anything for 30 days. Are you ready? Let's go. Journal questions. Your daily wisdom, direct from you. I am so excited to include journal questions for you at the end of each day. Here's why. Besides the fact that my own personal experience of journaling has been one of the most helpful and profound tools in my life, journaling has also been scientifically proven to reduce stress, boost immunity, sharpen memory, improve mood, and increase emotional awareness and function. All of these benefits will be so helpful as you navigate this journey, and I especially love the last one, increased emotional awareness and function for our purposes here. As you begin to experience life without alcohol, there will be so much rebalancing on a cellular, hormonal level in your brain and body, and on an emotional level too. Becoming more aware of your emotional landscape and increasing your natural ability to regulate emotions with the help of journaling throughout this process will be so beneficial in both the short term and long term. Yet, science aside, I believe the most important and profound benefit of honest journaling is that you access the deep wells of wisdom that already exist inside of you. Have you ever had an aha moment when something falls into place and the insight feels familiar? Like it was something you have known all along but just needed to remember? I believe journaling gives us that. And I've created these daily questions not only for the scientific and neurological benefits, but to allow you to learn from your most important teacher throughout these 30 days. You. You may feel some resistance in regards to journaling. I know I did. For a long time, I didn't write just for myself, but as if someone was going to find it later, even if that someone was me. Yes, I filtered my own writing for myself, and I'm not the only one. We often miss out on some core benefits of journaling because we won't let down the barriers or self judgment as words come out on the page. In order to cross the threshold of resistance that you may feel in regards to journaling, here are some tips that have helped me a ton. Become aware of your filters and remove them. Most people write and live with filters. Some of these filters may include writing what we think we should write, writing with a specific purpose in mind, trying to write beautifully, trying to write correctly, trying to sound smart, etc. This is one of the biggest hindrances to journaling. And right here, right now, I'm inviting you to toss those filters out the window. Write like no one is reading. Seriously, though, not even yourself at a later date. When I got that I wasn't writing for anyone else to read, not even myself, it shifted everything for me. Plan to burn everything you write. You don't actually have to, but write like you plan to. When I did this, my ability to write what I was actually feeling in all its human ugliness and imperfection increased greatly, and thus the positive effects of journaling increased as well. I started to be able to truly just empty my brain of everything rather than holding back. Don't underestimate this profound tool, the tool of writing, because of its simplicity. Be gentle on yourself with the discipline of it. Don't beat yourself up for missing a day or a week. Jump back in whenever you can, whenever you want to or need to, especially when you're having a hard time. And finally, allow yourself to marvel at and celebrate the incredible insights and wisdom that only you can bring to this 30-day experience. Remembering that none of my words will be half as important in your life as the words you write to yourself. The end. That's the end of the introduction. Tomorrow is day one. The chapter is titled, What's Your Why? And we'll hop in there tomorrow. Until then, trying to decide if there's anything else I want to say. I mean, while those are not my words, right? These are the words of Annie Grace. So much of it is so, like, I could have written so much of it, in terms of, um, she said she was able to drink 2 bottles of wine and not even really feel it. Relatable. She said, what was the other thing? Oh, feeling like she's the only one. Um, relatable. Um, so I just so strongly believe in the process that she has laid out here. I've experienced it for myself. And it was profound for me, and that's why I'm wanting to share it with whoever wants to hear it. So I truly hope that this is helpful. uh, I do recommend snapping a picture of yourself today. You don't want it to look pretty. Like, it doesn't need to look pretty. And if you're feeling brave, post it in the Facebook group. I'll post mine. I didn't take a photo on day one. The first photo I took was day 5, and I regret that. Um, so I think I have like a selfie from when I was drinking every day, but it's not like an intentional just face on, here's what I look like right here, right now. So do your future self that favor of getting vulnerable and taking that selfie. And if you want to get really vulnerable, share it to the group so we can all look at your mug today. um, that's all. Thanks for being here. Like I said, today is the longest read that there will be for the whole rest of the month. So I really appreciate you listening and watching as the sun sets as I read this to you. Let me know how I can support you. I would love to support you, and take really good care of yourself. Be easy on yourself. And I will see you tomorrow for day 1. Bye.